All right, here we go. Got the music?
Whenever you're ready.
You're supposed to say the words.
Kick it!
Welcome to Hardheaded Podcast. This is Chet Sears, your host, along with Troy Three-Shot Trussell.
He's not turning that music down.
And
I don't want to listen to him.
Matt Sandbagger Amos in studio with us at this celebration of our 100th episode is a former guest host of ours who came along and carried the load while Troy was in the hospital.
Yep.
Yay!
And you've been a guest before that as well. We have Christopher Beef Broughton with us here in Wichita, Kansas from Trussell Media Studios, downtown Wichita, Kansas at Main and Douglas.
Main and Douglas,
this is the
right.
middle of the city
Middle
center.
of the city.
Like we're right dead. We're downtown. We're in a high-rise building right now.
I got 2 country boys, 3 country boys. You're a city slicker like me, aren't you, Beef?
I mean,
Dude, it's a straight city slicker. There's nothing but...
Dude, I have rural route roots.
You do. From
Homer and Haynesville.
Homer in Haynesville, Louisiana. When I met him, you were driving an LTD, a Ford LTD. But then you went to...
You got to turn that. There you go.
Yeah.
Then you went to... where'd you go? You had the Goose. You had the blue Ford Ranger. I remember that. You're a pickup man now. This is just
Yes.
something women like about a pickup man.
My first pickup was the blue Ford Ranger.
Speaking of pickups, okay, so Broughton got into my house last night, and what did we do? No, it was this. Yeah, you got in late last night. Parked him out in the street because my daughter needed to get out to go to school this morning, and we ran to the store because tomorrow we're going up and we're going to tailgate at the Kansas State Wildcats versus Texas Longhorns football game in Manhattan, Kansas. So we had to go grocery shopping, and Broughton is apparently having a text conversation with my wife while we were in the store, and he laughs out loud, and I'm like, what? And he's like, this is the text that your wife just sent me, and he showed it, and her text, all it said was, Chevy? ? Because she didn't know he's driving a Chevy now, and so my wife's throwing shade at him for driving a Chevy pickup.
And I replied with regret because I'm going to ditch that thing as soon as possible.
That's a Ford F-150 family right there.
Yeah, well, a Ford family. I've only had one Ranger, so I guess all the rest of my Fords have been F-150s or the X.
Yeah, we're Ford family now too.
This Expedition.
Got an Expedition and an Edge. I like my little soccer mom Edge.
Yeah,
It's nice.
Got my F-350. Wife won't get rid of hers. It's a 2012 Town and Country, like 250,000 miles, but we got the old lifetime warranty on that sucker, so
yeah.
they keep fixing it. She's going to keep driving it, I guess.
As long as it'll go.
Yep.
But anyway, I thought that was pretty funny and my wife is not like a car person at all, but the fact that she noticed that he's driving a Chevy, and one of the conversations we had last night while we were unloading, she was like, I hate this truck. I'm going back to Ford.
Yeah. I had a GMC that was okay, and I was like, the Chevys look better right now to me, so I went with the Chevy, but no. That's what I'm thinking about Chevy. General Motors. Never again.
Somebody just got introduced to something.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That dude is awesome.
So anyway, episode number 100. We're live on Facebook right now. Those of you that are listening to us from any other means, this was recorded.
Yep.
So we are recording now as well as broadcasting live on Facebook. Go ahead and comment. If you're there, we'll try to weave those comments into our conversation.
Yeah, it looks like Hank Jones found it.
Oh, former guest Hank Jones.
Yeah,
Yes.
and he commented his top 3. I'm a little confused about this because his number 1 is Beef, number 2 Chet, number 3 is Matt. That must make me honorable mention. Am I honorable mention, I guess? At least I got that. I'm honorable. Y'all are just number 1, 2, 3, right?
I love it.
Thanks, Hank. Thanks for watching.
You're not even you're notable. You're just
Right.
a notable mention.
I'm just a notable mention.
Yeah. Honorable notation. That's what it was. Honorable notation, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're just gonna have a little fun here at the what's on my mind segment, and then we're gonna roll into our top 3 hard-headed episodes. So which are your top 3 episodes from Hardheaded? So if you have one, you could put that in the comments as well. Hank, it was probably the episode that you were on, maybe, or maybe one of Beef's many, and then after that, I don't even know who's giving us a good word. Who's doing the good word?
That's me.
Are you prepared?
Yes.
Whatever. I don't believe it. So
He's always prepared on the fly.
If you catch Matt on his phone during our discussion, if he goes quiet, you'll look over there. He'll be on his phone Googling if.
Yes, Joel. Yes,
yeah, we are.
we're all on. We're all on just so we can comment back. So
Yep.
yes,
So anyway, yeah, cool.
we think that highly of ourselves.
Yes, we love ourselves.
Yes.
Shout out to Joel and Hank, our 2 viewers right now.
Yeah, 2 of 6 viewers that we have right now.
Oh, I don't show that many.
Well, it counts us
you count
4.
us.
You're counting us.
Yeah, but 2
Yeah,
dear
count
friends
us.
of mine.
Yeah.
Both.
Yes, absolutely. So Hank is just getting off of harvesting. If what little there was to harvest this year was a bad year.
Well, thankfully, because of him, they had a harvest.
Yes,
I mean, National Cotton Council member.
he is our hard-headed agronomist, no doubt whatsoever. We have no other audience member that knows more about agronomy.
He's
There's
the
just
official
about nobody in the
consultant.
world. He's the leading authority on commercial agriculture in the solar system.
In the solar system.
Well, I mean, he did talk about being able to do it from space. So, I mean, that.
Yeah, I mean,
True.
you know,
All right, Troy, we okay over there, man? Yeah, we're good. Okay, we're good. So, Matt, I'm going to toss it over to you here.
Now I'm unprepared.
Now you're unprepared. Why did we start this podcast?
I don't even remember.
Okay, Troy, throwing it over to you.
All right. Yeah, I just remember one day Matt was like, "Hey, I'm going to buy this equipment so we can get started."
Yeah, which actually came from a discussion that we were having in the office with what podcast do you listen to? And then we started.
Oh, yeah.
We started talking about podcasts that we really like were conversations and not interviews per se,
Right.
just conversations. And then we only listed a couple of them, and then Matt's like, "I think we should do it." And then,
It can't be hard.
Well, and believe it or not, this was not our first rodeo for all of us.
right, that's true.
I had produced like 4 before this one.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had been on 2 other ones and produced one yourself
Yeah.
at your
Well, yeah,
workplace.
not public, but yeah.
Yeah, and then you were on the one with us 2 before that. So yeah, we
That
were
one was
all
short though. How many did we do? 15, 20,
I think
30?
we did like 30
30.
episodes for that one.
Yeah.
Crushing it.
Yeah,
Killing it. And we're at 100 right now.
we're at 100, man. This is
Hundo.
the longest one that I've done.
It's 2 years.
That's 100 weeks.
Yeah,
It was about this time 2 years ago that we did it. I remember it being a cold and rainy day that we drove over to Guitar Center.
Yep.
And to get the stuff, which is cold and rainy in Wichita today.
correct.
Somebody, when we went to the store this morning, somebody walked out in shorts and a t-shirt.
that's Wichita.
I've been trained to ignore pain, to ignore weather.
He's quoting a movie.
Nice.
What else do you ignore? You forgot the line.
I just ignore a lot of things. I ignore you a lot of the time.
That's
probably a good thing.
See, my friend David is watching. He's always encouraging me to listen to podcasts, but I didn't really get into them until Hardheaded came along.
Well, it's because we're the best.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Well, because you had a shot at being on it. That's probably why.
I was like, what is a podcast? It's on the phone. Do you download it? Do you read it? I didn't know what it was. And then, podcast helped bring me into another level of being.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good.
That's good.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for that. I just got done cooking a whole bunch of jambalaya. So one of the cool things that's happening this weekend, and really why Broughton's here, is so my son Stone plays in the Kansas State marching band, and we're like, I know you're a huge college football fan.
Correct.
and so when
This isn't a trial.
when the schedule came out,
Yes.
when the schedule came out, I was like, what game you got to come up for a game? You know, which game looks good to you? You know, and you're like, I'll come up for the Texas game.
Correct.
And so he's here, he's here for the Texas game. But there's a lot of stuff going on today. So one of the other things that happened, so my son ran with a group of guys in high school that kind of went on their separate ways for college. And a few months ago, they all started looking and were like, well, hey, this weekend, why don't we all go up to K-State and, you know, kind of meet with the K-State guys that are our friends and hang out all weekend. And somebody's like, well, I can get us tickets to the game. And so next thing you know, like there's 13 dudes that are friends with Stone up at K-State this weekend. So then I'm like, well, we're going to the game. Why don't we just tailgate? And so I cooked 2 enormous batches of jambalaya today so we can bring it up and tailgate and feed all those college boys tomorrow, which was pretty funny. And one of the things I'll read, you guys may get a kick out of this, I don't know. But I'm a pretty good cook, I guess you could say. Correct.
Pending.
So
We'll see tomorrow right at the tailgate, see if that's...
well, no, because here's what's funny. Because I'm like, Stone, I'm going to cook a whole bunch of food if you could confirm with your buddy, because Stone's not going to be there, right? He's got to do all the football stuff, and he can't. You know, there's no time. He has to show up like 5 or 6 hours before kickoff. And so I'm like, can you make sure your friends are going to come and going to be there? And he's like, yeah, I'll text them. And then his response was, it sounds like they have another invitation from one of the other guys that is going to be there, his grandma, but I'm sure a couple will show up. And we're bringing a couple guys up with us. And so one of his friends' dad's going to be with our group. And he's like, I'm sure those guys will show up because their dads are going to be there, you know? And I said, all right, I'll adjust the food quantity down, but just remind those guys that are coming, I'm going to have jambalaya. And his response was, well, it sounds like a majority are coming now because one of the guys had my jambalaya before. He's really talking up the jambalaya, so they're all coming. So I had to cook 2 batches today just to make sure these old college boys are fed.
They just don't get that. It was pretty good.
That Midwesterners, they just don't get that kind of food all the time. So
they eat like rhubarb pie. What do they eat up here?
I don't know. Chili and cinnamon rolls.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That does sound pretty good today.
Little chili?
A little chili.
So do you dip the cinnamon roll in the chili?
I don't do cinnamon roll. I don't know where that came from.
I've tried it. We did it on our Live Local show. I want to go check that episode
How was
out. It's okay. I mean, I wouldn't eat it every time. It makes it too rich.
You put the chili on top of the cinnamon roll like a biscuit and gravy?
No, I just dipped my cinnamon roll in the chili.
I don't know many people that coat it. I don't know if anybody does it. It's like served with it.
It's like,
so it's a separate.
So instead of cornbread, they put
It's a
cinnamon roll. So you just substitute the two. Like I like cornbread with my chili, so I put cornbread and I'll dip the cornbred in the chili, but cinnamon roll is just a little too sweet.
I don't think you should eat chili with anything other than Fritos chips. Just the way I am.
I prefer it that way. Cornbread's good,
acceptable,
but I prefer
cornbread
the
is-
Fritos.
Cornbread's acceptable, but the Fritos, man, it's just the crunch and everything.
I'm 100% on board with you. If we're
Yeah.
serving it at our house, it's Fritos on the is the base.
Oh yes, it has to be on the
It's a
bottom.
chili Frito pie is basically what you're.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, but there's no pie.
It's a chili Frito. That's what they call it, though.
No, not me.
It's
It's
what
chili.
Well, he
I
said
call that-
they,
I
not
just call
you.
it-
It's what it's called.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
If you come over to my house for chili,
You're gonna say, "Oh, we're gonna have chili and Fritos." You just say chili Frito pie, and then I know what you're talking about.
don't
You mean
say
Fritos with the chili on top with the cheese. Yeah.
You don't
Yeah,
say
you
Fritos.
probably put sour cream on there or whatever because you're weird.
No, you have
No,
a
sour
big-
cream's good on top.
I put bowl of chili, sour cream, or put cheese in there first, kind of get melty. Then a good glop of sour cream.
dollop. It's
Dollop.
Really like a mega dollop. And then I may stir it up and make it a creamier, or I may leave it kind of separated. But either way, I'll kind of dip scoops in there. I may like throw some chips and then spoon it. But I don't use chips as a base because then it would be a pie.
But are
late
you
there, buddy.
are you the savage that uses the scoops?
If I'm scooping,
a scoop of what?
The Fritos
the Fritos scoops.
No, Frito scoops are for bean dip.
Yes.
You don't tell me what they're for. You don't even know what a chili Frito pie is.
It's not a pie.
the best is a king size original Frito if you can find it. But that's kind of the unicorn of Fritos.
I've never heard of that.
Before they had scoops, before somebody's like, what if we indented it? It was just a king size Frito. Remember those from back in the day?
Pie is a dessert, Hank Jones says.
Then
I would agree.
I would too, but I mean, it like shepherd's pie. That's not. I mean, is there a debate that shepherd's pie doesn't exist? That's what it's called.
But it's
Chili
served in
Frito-
it's served in a pie dish, isn't it?
No,
I don't know what
it's in a casserole dish, same as anything else.
You
Same
don't
as
have
anything
to
else.
have a.
And
You ever heard of a
I
cow
will
pie?
say-
A mud pie?
a what pie?
Cow pie.
Cow pie? Yeah.
So Joel just commented
Cow
something
patty.
about you're new to podcasting through Hardheaded Podcast, but you're not new to radio.
I'm not.
So you got to. I'm going to butcher this story, but Broughton has been a prolific sports commenter on all forms of message boards and sports radio shows, as even much as Jim Rome. Right? You've been on the Jim Rome
Yeah,
show.
I called into the Jim Rome show in like 1998.
Yeah.
And that's what he's referring to. And I
Well,
got on and he didn't rack me, but he didn't say that it sucked either.
But then there's a local guy in Baton Rouge when you're down at LSU Law School.
I did get a couple calls there.
You won a dinner.
I won a couple of dinners. One was predicting a Kansas State score. I forgot about that. I predicted a Kansas State score. I had to get the closest score, and it was like Kansas State, somebody. Anyway, and then another time was some other trivia question. Yeah.
No, but you bet it was the Tech Nebraska game. Joel, so my brother-in-law Joel,
Yeah, I remember that.
he was working in Baton Rouge and listening to the radio, and every now and then he'd listen to this radio station. Every now and then he'd just hear you, you're calling in.
That's right.
But Louisiana Tech was playing Nebraska, and we were touting ourselves at the moment for having some really good offense.
Yeah.
And some dude, Don, what's his name? Who's the radio guy you called into? Anyway, you bet him a steak dinner.
Richard Condon was one guy. There's Jimmy Ott, maybe.
Anyway, he called in and literally he was like, you don't know what you're talking about. Tech's gonna cover the spread, da 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 da. And the guy argued back with you, and you're like,
He
"Oh, I bet
made
you
a
dinner."
bet if Tech does something, then I'll take you out to lunch or something. And then he ended up having to take me to Brewbacher's.
And did you get Brewbacher's?
Yeah, which is just like a
Hamburger
sandwich shop, a little lunch spot.
Yeah.
So
anyway, and he also one of the Bulldogs barks and bites. He would get kicked off of that every week, and then have to log in with a completely different account and different email address because he would say inflammatory things. And then I mentioned that you were going to come up to a game, and I think even Trey Smith mentioned something about your ability to carry a sign around the stands that disparaged the athletic director or something along those lines. He's been in some trouble in his days.
I think you should just go be the antagonist and wear orange tomorrow.
well, if I'll get rowdy if I feel like it's right. I know the pastor's going, and then I don't know where our seats are. I'm going to have to feel it out. But if I feel the need to let the Texans know what's up, I will.
So, speaking of, did we tell this story already? Dante Culpepper.
Yes, I don't know if you told it, but it's
You know who Dante Culpepper is? He was a quarterback
Yep.
in the NFL. He's 6'7" and 350 pounds.
Yeah, for the Vikings for a long time.
Yeah. So
Beast.
he played for University of Central Florida, and they came into Ruston, Louisiana during the time frame when we were there, when our team was pretty
He
hot.
was like 99 or something.
And so student section's right behind the opposing team's bench, and Broughton is just like riding the hey, confidence in our offense, right? Our football team is like, Dante Culpepper, you suck, you're no good, you're overrated, like just in his ear, like the whole and like he's 20 feet in front of us, like he's right there, and we're 5 or 6 rows up, looking at him eye to eye because this guy is so tall. He's just a massive dude. And then they have the ball. They're like on the 35-yard line, kind of like where we're sitting. And then he dances this way, dances that way, and ends up breaking a tackle or making every one of our 11 players on the field miss. Like literally, like just dance around as he dances into the end zone. And then like his teammates are coming over there to give him high five and all that kind of stuff. And Dante Culpepper sprints to the sideline, leans up in the stands towards us, and points at him. He's like, "Sit down and shut up."
That's not the way it happened.
That's what happened.
It was like some assistant coach. It wasn't Dante.
It was Dante Culpepper.
I don't know. Joel, I have
And
to
he
say,
goes-
Joel was probably there.
He goes,
I was at that
"Okay."
game.
He sat down.
Whenever I was told to sit down, I just sat down because, that was the beginning of the night when Tech got dominated. It ended up being like 55-7.
And anyway, he got told to shut up, and he's like, "Okay, I'll just go. I'll go sit down."
Yeah, I think I left. Pretty sure I left at halftime at that game.
Yeah, you probably left at halftime at all the games at that time of your life.
No, that season we won every game, just about, with Troy Edwards and
Tim Rattay.
yeah. Man, we stayed for every game, all game.
Yeah, and he said it was Dante Culpepper. He did yell at Broughton. So. Whatever you tell yourself to make yourself sleep at night, that's
He was bigger than Tech linebackers.
yeah.
And Broughton got his autograph after the game. I don't know about that. This is turning into an anti-Broughton situation.
You can't call Joel a liar. I mean, he was there. He remembers
He
it.
is the most trustworthy of this group.
Right.
But he may be misremembering. He's going a little Ronald Reagan there.
Anyway.
That's good.
The game he tried to bring the couch into the stadium, Tim Couch.
Yeah, we did do that. That was we had a lot of fun in college, if you couldn't tell already. But we had a couch in our door, or at the BSU house.
I wasn't part of the couch.
Well, we called it Tim Couch, and we wanted to go watch a practice. It was open practice, and so we just decided to bring our couch. This is in Landrum's pickup truck.
That's so good.
So we pulled up as close as we could to the stadium and got lifting up the couch, and they're like, "What are you guys doing?" We're like, "Well, we're going to come watch practice." And they're like, "You can't bring a couch in here." And then
Why not?
And then they were trialing out a Jumbotron for the stadium. So they had a crane there. This is what it would be like if you bought one of these. And so we'll have a game here with all the cameras. And we're like, "Oh, look, a Jumbotron." And the dude that was selling it was like, "It's not a Jumbotron. It's a something other Tron." One of their competitors.
Suckytron.
Yeah. It's kind of funny.
Skadoosh.
Yeah.
Made by Huawei.
I don't remember Hank saying, do we remember giving away, or they used to give away used cars at halftime?
No.
I don't remember that,
I don't remember that.
but that's kind of funny. Anyway, so football's going on right now. Matt's daughters go to Andale. Andale's on a 48-game win streak.
Yeah, 47 or 48 now.
47 or 48 games. They played in the playoff game last night against Pratt and dominated.
Way dominated. Yeah. Yep. 45-0 in the first quarter.
And that's the first round of the playoffs, second round,
Second round, and then we move on to
Sorry, I was yawning
not
over
true
here.
not true football fans over here for a team with one of the top 5 winning records in the country right now.
I think it's wonderful. It's still high school, and I could care less.
Couldn't care less.
Couldn't care less.
That comes from a city boy who doesn't have the pride of his hometown. We're just a small country school, and
Hey,
I grew up in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Us country boys over here.
Way to try to chime in on it there.
We're gonna draw a line. It's gonna be drawn right here.
Wait, who's more country?
Huh? I am.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey.
Now the second line has been drawn right down there.
Here's the deal. If Google Street View has yet to go to the house you were raised in, you're more country.
That is not the defining marker.
It is. Google Street View's been there for decades at his house where he was raised. The Google Street View still doesn't know where I was raised. They've never been down the road. So I'm more country.
I don't think so.
It's like when they
Look,
turn around, they're like, we've gone too far.
I know that we're 100 episodes in, but we decided at the beginning of the year that we weren't going to discuss this one anymore.
Okay.
What if you're
that's
so
true.
city that 2 cities claim you in Google Maps?
That's I live right now. I have 2 zip codes for my house. Rural city and a metropolitan city both claim my neighborhood.
Yes.
But anyway,
Now, see, I have 2 counties that try to claim me
why?
based on my zip code. It's because part of that zip code's in Reno, part of it's in Sedgwick. So anytime I fill out a form on anything, it says, "Are you in Reno or Sedgwick?"
Yeah.
And if it's for tax purposes on something, Sedgwick County.
I love it. Troy, what's been going on, man?
Oh, not much. Just moved into the studio 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
Thank you. Thank you.
With the exception that it's a smack dab. I mean, it's probably good for business, but I mean, I got to pack a gun to come up here.
It's not bad.
Do what you must.
Oh, we're middle of downtown.
There's no.
Dude,
Crime.
You don't know what you're talking
you don't know what the middle of downtown is.
We're here.
about. No.
Why don't you
from
come
a crime perspective? He's
Come on down to Shreveport.
come on down to Shreveport to the Revel or something, or the state? You know what? Right now they're
State
having
Fair.
the state fair. Why don't you come to the state fair on Library Card Day and stay until the night and let's rock and roll, buddy.
Yes.
Bang bang on the door.
Was that a B-52 reference right
Yes.
there? Yeah. Nice. No, things are going well. Just got a few sick kids, which is normal about this time of year. So
Yeah.
that's about it. Yeah.
It's
My
been
daugh-
going. It's been going around.
Yeah, my daughter has very low pain tolerance, like the lowest I've ever seen of any human. So anytime she gets sick, she's like,
The world's coming to an end.
I'm going to die.
Yeah.
I need to go to a ENT. Like she told Hannah today she needed to go see a ear, nose, and throat specialist.
Yeah.
It's that bad.
Does she take medicine?
Regularly?
No. I mean,
No.
like when she's not feeling well, like here's some children's Tylenol or anything.
Oh,
like
yeah. Yeah, she will.
that? Yeah. I
But
did.
it doesn't.
I refused to take medicine when I was a kid.
Oh.
Like even I don't know, most simple, like the grape flavored,
I don't know what's
Motrin?
worse.
Tussin.
anything. Because like Nancy Reagan got my head with her say no to drugs thing. And I was like, all these are drugs. And I'm not doing it.
The kids in Shreveport sell medicine
That's right.
at school. Bang bang.
This is a very low crime, everything compared to
Okay.
Shreveport.
Oh, Hannah thought that was funny. Your library card.
So did Kim Bibu.
Yeah, Kim's my cousin. She lives in Ohio. Hey, Kim.
Nice. Oh. Hannah, they just rubbed some tussin on it.
That's all you got to do is rub some tussin on it.
right.
Tussin's the cure all. Yeah, we had, I think all the kids have been sick. I know Clara was sick last week or week and a half ago, something like that. And I was sick when I was gone. I mean, I got on a flight, landed in Florida, and then all of a sudden I was like, man, I landed in Florida, and all of a sudden my sinuses are just acting up. And then everybody else around me started getting sick, and I didn't end up too bad, but there's another stomach virus going around too. Had a bunch of people throwing up and being a little poopy for a few days. So I didn't get that one either. Thank goodness, because I had to fly from Florida to Montana. And
How was Montana, by the way?
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah, Montana was awesome.
You guys getting some weather?
No, not too bad. It snowed, quite a bit, and there were some drifts up on top of the mountains that were, between 3 and 3.5 feet deep, stuff
Yeah.
like that, and pretty awesome to watch some amputees trudge through waist deep snow on a hillside, try to go get an elk. I mean, that's pretty impressive, especially since it's not me.
Yeah.
And I'm watching them do it and be like, hey, good job, bud.
Yeah.
But yeah, we saw we over 200 head of elk, and just difficult terrain because you got that many eyeballs trying to look at you. Hard to get up close to them.
Yeah.
But,
so for those of you who don't know, Matt volunteers with Wounded Warrior Outdoors, and they take wounded veterans out on hunts, and they just had a big hunt out in Montana, and you had this emergency. And one of the things, it makes me feel good that when Matt is on a mountainside, thousands of miles away, and there's an emergency, he's like, Chet, I need your help. And Troy, I need your help. Like, he was like, hey, Chet and Troy, I need your help. And I'm like, naturally, this is where he would go. But you had your menu planned out, and the town that you grocery shop in was out of food altogether. What you needed.
What I needed. So I drew up this menu because I basically just go up to help cook and all that kind of stuff now.
Yeah.
And I worked out my menu and went grocery shopping and didn't find what I needed on my first trip. So I went back and kind of game planned a little bit and got all the meat markets and grocery stores and called every one of them. And there was not one single beef brisket to be had in all of Great Falls, Montana.
Yeah. So he's like, I need to know what to add. And I'm thinking, number one, thanks for reaching out. Number two, I got something for you. This is special. These are special guys. We want to make sure they have a good meal, good memory. I got a recipe that my mom developed after living in Japan for fried rice, and it's 100%. She modified it for my dad's liking, so it's not like anything you could get at a Chinese restaurant or anything like that. But it's something that I hold close and dear. It's not like I'm just not posting this out there on the internet. People that have had it have asked, and I've in some cases given it away. But I'm like, well, here's your go-to. So here I'm giving all this stuff out to Matt, like this special family recipe. And then I was like, a day later, like, how'd it go? He's like, I didn't do that. Like, I'm like, dude, I gave you like this gold, and now he's just sitting on it. And what is he going to do with it? Well, I wanted him just to use it for these veterans out of appreciation for them. And he's like, I'm not doing that. So I think you should delete that out of your phone.
I will not, but I did come close to using it, but ended up went with pork loin.
Yeah.
And smoked pork loin type deal, and then I didn't even end up making that.
Man,
you didn't make it? What'd you do?
I didn't even make that. I did spaghetti, and then I just switched it up.
Spaghetti.
And did Creole.
That's what happens at our house.
That's
Anytime
the
like, what do we cook?
easiest meal.
Spaghetti.
Yeah, you were sitting on culinary gold.
Well,
and you chose spaghetti.
But then I would have had to go and get the rest of the ingredients that I didn't have. And so with the snow and the weather, it's like when I go up there and rent a car, because I have to rent cars with hand controls in order to be able to drive, and so they have to know 48 hours in advance. I called this company a month in advance and said, hey, I need a truck. I need a Dodge Ram, because that's typically what they have with hand controls. And then the company calls me back like 2 weeks before I'm supposed to get there, and they're like, hey, we don't, the only vehicle that we have that we can put hand controls on is a little Kia something or other. I mean,
Sportage?
No, it wasn't. No, I mean, we're
Forte?
talking a car, like a small car.
Yeah.
And so when I showed up, I was like, well, I mean, I couldn't find a truck in that short amount of time that they told me to get hand controls put on. And so I had this little itty bitty car. Well, with the snow drifts out there on that road, there were no way I was making it back to Great Falls to go grocery shopping. So I had to do with what I had in the kitchen.
Okay. All
So
right.
that's why I did spaghetti.
Well, I think you need to delete that off your phone.
No, I'm going to keep it.
It's not intended for you.
I might go ahead and write a cookbook and just put it in there and put my name as the creator of the recipe.
Do it and see what happens.
Spaghetti was my go-to college meal when we lived at 1716, because we had all this unlimited free ground beef.
How did you have unlimited free ground beef?
So my grandfather, what we did was that we just had the ground beef, do like a can of like Hunt spaghetti sauce and some noodles, and then some bread.
Like Hunt's? Really?
Well, we were college kids.
I think the Hunts,
You get like $1 a can, and you get some bread. You have like $2 spaghetti.
the
'cause
Hunt
we had the free
family
meat.
and tomatoes don't go with
Well,
me.
let me
But
tell you
anyway,
what.
okay.
So my grandfather had a bull named Jim, and it was time to like sell Jim. But then Jim, when it's like getting in the chute to be loaded, he's like, "I'm not doing it," and he like reared up and like fell over and broke his neck and died. And so they couldn't sell him dead.
Not doing it.
He said it in cat like, "Rrrr." So, it translated loosely, "I'm not doing it." And you couldn't sell him, so they had to take him to the butcher, and apparently he was like you couldn't get a bunch of fine cuts of whatever. They just ground most of it up to chili meat and ground beef. So we just had this like entire deep freeze of Jim, and like my whole last year, me and Schaffner and Landrum just spaghetti, meat. It was very lean,
Why didn't I know about this? That's awful not friendly of you.
I'm sure you were probably invited. I don't know.
I'm sure. Yeah, you probably had some of that.
I don't think
some of
so.
that, Jim.
I don't remember eating anything at 1716.
I don't know why.
You never cooked for.
I mean, me and you weren't as tight then as you were with like JD, and I don't know.
I was there when we changed the date on the milk jug for JD.
Yeah.
That was pretty epic.
I don't know though, but
You shared that story.
you were living on Sybil or something.
good.
I don't know,
Yeah, I was on Sybil.
but that's what happened.
Yeah. 1716, they almost burned that house down with gasoline, trying to eradicate mice.
I remember that story.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, we're going to move on. Are we doing a commercial? Let's not do a commercial break.
No, man, we're live, baby.
For those that are not, if we're recording, all right, the commercial break was just inserted. We're
Yeah.
back.
There you go.
The awesome wonders of production. Top 3 hard-headed episodes, 1 through 99. You're not going to be able to pick this one.
Oh,
Because we don't know. We don't even know if it's going to turn out. We just don't know. Matt, why don't you lead us off?
all right. Number 3, episode 95. When I told everybody Trump's not going to solve our problems, because it's I think it's extremely relevant now, and I think everybody should go back and listen to that before they go and vote on Tuesday, and make sure that you do go vote. Number 2,
But you're not.
But you can't vote for Trump on Tuesday.
Right.
but I'm saying
But you're also not saying don't vote for people that support. What are you saying?
I'm saying
Why should they listen to this episode?
Get clear.
before they-
it's clear in the episode, but what I'm saying is it's not just because somebody says, hey, I basically support Trump just straight down the line and don't question anything he does. I mean, that's just a pawn. I mean,
Because there's a lot of people that do that on the other side too that we wish they would actually think.
exactly. So
Okay.
think about who you're voting for, make informed decisions come Tuesday. Episode or number 2 would be episode 30, where Chet goes off into the deep end on the Grass Mafia. I don't know how many times I've thought about the Grass Mafia. Every time I drive by a freaking yard that's green,
I think
go,
about that
Grass
too.
Mafia.
Is that?
And then I think of,
Fescue.
Yeah, I hate fescue.
I can't believe it. That was early.
Yeah.
Episode 30.
Yeah, all mine are early,
Yeah.
which may mean I think we're getting worse. I don't know. But go ahead.
well, I think it was more entertaining for us, maybe.
It lives in your head though. Like the grass looks beautiful right now in Kansas because it's
fescue.
Yeah, it's 40 degrees.
It's that time
outside.
of year for fescue.
Yeah.
Mine looks terrible.
There's like 2 months out of the year fescue looks good in Kansas, but no, you got to put it in according to ordinance.
Yeah, and then and then I just like how we went down the rabbit hole of the HOAs and how the HOAs are aligned with the landscaping companies and how they're
The sprinkler
The lawn
people.
companies.
and the sprinkler
Turf.
companies, and it's all just some sort of conglomerate and a conspiracy to get you to spend money.
That's what happens when you do research. You find out what you follow the money, and I did.
You're exactly the analytics that YouTube loves. So, which was another episode. Oh.
I got a plan about my yard. That'll be a future What's on Your Mind.
Yeah, you're probably going to break some codes, some covenants.
I might.
Yeah,
Might have already done it.
I was about ready to control burn my yard. I really was. I was like, I'm done. I'm not.
Yes.
I'm not mowing. I think I literally said to my buddy Tim, like I mowed it for the last time, and I was like, if it grows enough to where I need to mow again, I'm burning it. I'm just gonna burn it. Anyway, go ahead. Number one.
Oh, well, so number one would be the episode 36 with Jim Kelly. Not the football player, not the he is an MMA guy, but not the MMA fighter. That just talked about his experience with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and all the stuff that this guy has done in his career, and that's what we really talked about was his love for MMA and all that.
I remember liking that one. It didn't make my list, but I remember touting that guy.
Yeah, and he's super intelligent, and just we can't talk about half the stuff he's done, and I'm not going to say who he's worked for in the past, but I mean just a really humble dude, and talking about what you can do to recognize a situation and what you need, and here one guy that you think would say, "Oh, bring a gun," doesn't even have gun on the list. It's knife and then common sense and looking situational awareness. And a good buddy of mine, I really enjoyed that podcast. That's my number one.
All right.
That was good.
Are we going in this direction?
Sure.
All right. Good call. Thanks, Troy. Really helped me out there. That was a quick answer, too.
You got it.
Number 3, the country boy argument, episode number 23. And I loved it because I brought up the street view and Matt just didn't have a response.
I really didn't. I really still haven't thought about it too much, but I mean, I'm still more country than you. We'll always be more country than you, and
that's fine. But that didn't mean that was a bad episode. It was a really good episode, and it was a lot of fun. I like arguing with you.
Yeah, it does get pretty interesting sometimes. If people could see our chat in Signal, the stuff that gets talked about, and the ridiculous arguments that happen there, it's pretty funny.
It's usually just you two.
I can only imagine.
I chime in occasionally.
I bet you throw your phone down and you're like, I'm not even picking this thing back up.
Usually if it's at nighttime, it's sitting on my bedside table and it's going bing, 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 or then it's starting to go vroom, vroom.
Yeah.
And Hannah's like, what is that? I'm like, oh, the girls
they're arguing.
Talking. They're just arguing with each other.
Unrelated to this, but you just mentioned Signal. People that aren't using Signal are foolish.
Yeah, well, the nice thing about Signal, if you don't know, it's an app that encrypts your text. Then it's end-to-end encryption. So if somebody were to read our text, you'd actually have to have one of our phones. You can't like hack in there and read it. So yeah, go Signal.
Yeah,
that's my.
Hey, Signal, if you're looking to sponsor a podcast, I know one.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Number 2.
Hardheaded.
Oh,
there it is.
Number 2, the immediate following episode 23, was episode 24, when Matt got called out for complimenting me on some other podcast that he was a guest on.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
When he said, Chet,
that was good.
Chet is an extremely intelligent individual. No, it was 3 eyes. Incredibly intelligent individual. And I said, my new nickname is going to be I3. And then he got upset because he found out that that I knew that he said that. And then he's like, oh crap, now he's going to bring it up all the time.
And he has.
Yes, I have. So that was fantastic.
I remember that.
Correct.
Yeah.
And number 1, episode number 36 with Jim Kelly. I listened to that yesterday. I was driving back up from it was Wednesday. I was driving back up from Tulsa, and I was just kind of going through, hey, I need to prepare for this recording, and kind of go through some of these. And I was like, man, I remember really liking that one. Let me go, and I listened to the whole thing again. I loved it. I mean, he provided so much insight, and one of the things that you didn't mention, talking about one of the reasons it's so good was because I agree with everything that you said, but your drive. Like having a drive to go accomplish something and following it is important. And I thought that was valuable. And he naturally he did that through the military and through martial arts and instructing, right? I mean, he teaches people for a living. And then you look at, he's like, that can apply to anything, right? Just having a drive. And it was kind of funny that epiphany came for him when he was watching A Never-Ending Story, which I don't know.
Right.
I don't think he planned on sharing that, but it just like came out, and then it was hilarious. But yeah, I think, as far as having fun, there's some humor. Top 3 cereals was the top 3, which is a fun discussion.
That's hilarious.
And it was just peppered with great knowledge, information, the gospel. I don't know if we can get any better than that. That was a fantastic episode.
I would agree.
All right, man.
Okay. I felt like I didn't have, because I'm not on it every week, I just didn't have as good a working knowledge. But I did come up with a number, my top 3. For me, I put number 3 was that country music episode that I was on. We talked about like Montana hunting.
Yeah, that's
first.
when I was in the hospital.
Yeah, and that's no offense.
That's one of the best episodes ever.
But
Why did that make
honestly,
my number
like
one?
The Montana hunting part, I was like, I didn't care about it as much. But I loved the music discussion.
Same with Troy, like listening to high school football discussion. Whatever.
I loved the
Exactly.
music discussion that we had.
Yeah.
And I could tell that, like, I could talk with Matt. I could have,
'Cause he's
in
a country boy?
12-hour podcast. Yeah, because he's, lives a country lifestyle musically and non-musically.
Yeah, and that was a good episode for me.
Unlike-
to miss.
Unlike some people.
And I really I love that. And then also, I think I gave the good word on that one, too.
I think so.
Yep.
And so I know I'm not promoting myself, but it was kind of special to me to have the, be
Yeah.
part of it. I really enjoyed talking about the music and giving the good word.
Okay.
But so I liked it. This is my top 3. I'm not saying it's,
do you know what episode number that was?
No, I don't know these numbers.
I'll find it.
That's what I have you for.
It was September of 2021 because that's when I was in the hospital.
Okay.
This is
Second
47.
week of September.
All right. Number 2, I put that the social credit one. I just really liked that discussion.
Yes.
I don't remember what the top 3 was on that day, but I kind of was going through the titles. Like, I remember this one being a really good one. And, I occasionally hear people bring it up again, how they're starting a social credit. I mean, that everything is morphing into that.
Yeah. That was, I enjoyed researching that too, and it's scary where we're headed.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then for number 1, I put that Bob Hamer guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And that was like the 3rd one or something. But
Episode 6. That was
Okay.
episode 6. Yeah.
it was a pretty long one. It was like an hour and a half or 2 hours. It was long.
It was one of our
It was well
longest.
over an hour. Yeah.
And I just was really fascinated by that. And, also because I used to do juvenile legal work and the criminal work. And I just have seen a lot of that. And I've just seen a lot of that. And I knew I'm always suspicious of that people are pedophiles. And
Yeah.
so, I was right there with him like, oh, those guys are pedophiles.
Yeah.
And I'm suspicious of that. And I'm not going to get in and offend anybody, but
The
there's lots of people I wonder about.
me
and Bob could get them.
one of the things that was a tough episode for. I mean, if you want to look at, we're new to podcasting to a certain extent, and then having a guest of high caliber, former undercover FBI agent, author, and then one of the things that we wanted to have him on for, because he's done a lot of stuff in his career, but to actually talk about his work with pedophilia, nobody wants to talk to him about that. So he was really kind of uplifted that we want to bring that up, so our friends who are parents of kids could just kind of be aware of some of that stuff, and it was deep. I wanted to take a shower after that episode. I mean,
Oh yeah, for sure. It was good content though,
yeah.
for sure.
All right, Troy.
All right, is that all yours? And do y'all have any honorable mentions?
All right, Bob's was mine.
After it's over, I'll have a couple honorable mentions.
I got a few too. So my number 3 was episode 45. It's titled "Matt Attacks Troy's Preparedness," but that was also with special guest Marine Josh Sust in the studio, and that was the bidet conversation.
Oh, that was funny.
I could not stop laughing about the bidet.
That made another list.
Yeah. What list is that?
He was like, "Are we doing top 3 that you like or top 3 that you hate?" Because that one where you're talking about toilets.
Was that the one about the good? Was that the one about the good system? That's the one I'm talking about.
Oh, no, it wasn't.
Yeah, we're talking about
Okay.
different ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that whole bidet conversation.
What
that,
episode was that? You
that
said
got me.
41?
That was episode 45.
45.
All right, and then number 2, episode 35, special guest Don Trussell.
Yeah.
Had my dad on the episode. So that was really fun just to hear his take on a few things that we talked about, and a lot of hunting, and we did our top 3 dream hunts.
I tout
And
that guy.
That was cool. Yeah.
Cherokee Chief.
So
Oh, Cherokee Chief. Yep.
he, typical Don Trussell fashion, I can't even remember this. So we took him took your mom and your dad to the K-State versus Oklahoma
Last
State.
weekend. Yeah.
And
Domination.
yeah, it was totally blew me away. But anyway, it was a great game to be. I mean, it was just a really good experience. And I can't remember who exactly it was. I'm going to butcher this, but it was like, ask, was it you who said, Mr. Don, they call you in. Somebody said to Ashley, did Kleiman ask for you to come in, suit up and come in and help out? And he's like, well, they didn't need me today or something. Like, he's like, I was willing, but the need wasn't there or something. It was like the most perfect Don Trussell comment, like fired it right off. That, it was pretty funny.
That's awesome. Yeah, and then number 1 was episode 94, and that was titled "How to Protect Your Children from the Internet." But that's where I gave the best top 3 ever that has been on this show.
I remember talking about how awesome it was.
The top 3 overrated and undersold things.
Yes.
So-
And I don't know that we've never had any like, oh my gosh, that top 3 was awesome. Other than that,
I remember that was a great top 3.
Yeah, it was good.
You killed it.
I killed it on that.
I'm not overselling it.
That was good. So if you haven't heard episode 94, you need to go check it out.
and skip through the front part when Troy's is not entertaining. And go straight to the top 3.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, you got a good word for us?
I do. Good word for the day is appreciate.
Okay. Why'd you stare at me when you said that?
Because you were looking at me like I was unprepared, and I've been thinking about this one for a little bit.
Oh, I thought you were like,
I
'cause
appreciate your efforts.
I don't appreciate.
Unappreciative, appreciative. I just wanted to let our audience know that we sincerely appreciate them sticking with us through the last 100 episodes, and continue to please share, comment, tell everybody about it. Word of mouth is awesome. I don't know how many places I go where somebody's like, hey, I listen to this podcast or that podcast, and they start talking about an episode, or they'll reference an episode because it just came out. And I don't even remember what they're talking about, because as soon as we leave here, there's 9 times out of 10, I immediately drop what we've talked about, especially if you've been talking. Mm-hmm. And, but just want to let everybody know we appreciate you guys. Keep sharing for us, and help keep pushing this forward.
Yeah, and just we really do appreciate you. And just to let you know, we're actually been doing this for a pretty good while, and in the top 10% of all podcasts that are out there, because there are like 2 million podcasts out there. So we're definitely in the top 10% of that, and excited about it. We want to keep going, keep growing. And
we can't do it without you, and you telling your friends. And
absolutely, we would appreciate it if you did that. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Yep. And go buy some swag. Hardheadedpodcast.com.
Tapestry.
Get a tapestry like hanging up there.
I mean, that would look good basically in anybody's home.
That's right.
There's a reason it's only hanging in a studio,
Right.
and not in one of our homes right now.
Not at home.
I took it down off of my wall to bring in here, so we had some.
Look at you,
we had a tapestry.
Look at you. Appreciate you, Matt. Appreciation.
It basically hangs, in my house, and then I put two.
Yes.
Then I put 2 ferns right on the 2 sides there.
And speaking of appreciation, I think one of Broughton's coworkers said that she appreciated Broughton not being at work today.
Wait, did you say that again?
Oh, you appreciate not being at work. I turned that around on you.
Yeah, well, it's going on her permanent record. So, it skipped over my honorable mentions. Thanks, guys.
Okay, go fire away.
Mine was Hank Jones.
Yes.
Because it was awesome. These are not in order. The banging and singing guy. I don't remember, but I like that one.
Anthony
Marquez.
And Don Trussell and Country Boy argument.
Yeah. Oh, Country Boy argument gets 2. And I won that argument.
You were raised in a more country environment, but I feel now you live a more country lifestyle.
I am country.
I mean, you can't get more country than where. I mean, the Google thing is true.
But I'm not arguing with this. I definitely am not. I'm a city guy now. But you've been to Calcasieu. You've been there. He knows.
I mean, I haven't been to where you were raised.
But I'm just saying, but that wasn't. I don't know if we need to get into this again, but it wasn't about where it started. It's about who is more
you don't.
country.
Just play the music. Get us out of here. Play the music.
I am here, and I am still more country, and that was the argument.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to our live broadcast. Thanks for the comments and the participation. We will see you next week. We have one more episode that we're recording with Chris before he has to head back to Louisiana. Looking forward to that. Episode number 101. Talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Hardheaded Podcast. Don't forget to share this podcast with others to help us get the word out.
Also, if you haven't yet, please rate and review the show. This helps our podcast show up in other people's suggested shows that may or may not have listened to us before.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.